Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello, I have a question for you. Who is a person or somebody or something that has been a productivity guide or mentor for you throughout your life? Who would that be? I realize in the 76 episodes that we've been together for intentional productivity tips, I've never asked you, who have you looked to as a productivity guide in the past? I'm going to tell you, for me, it's a sloth. I'm not going to lie, and I'm being honest. I will tell you, one thing I have learned is sloths are great productivity role models. So as we're moving forward with today's episode, and by the end, I think you're going to add a sloth to your list of productivity guides in the future. Hello, my name is Megan. I'm your very favorite strategic productivity partner, and you are watching me on Intentional Productivity Tips today. I am on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and be notified when new episodes drop. Today, as I mentioned, we are going to learn some productivity lessons from a sloth, because today's episode we're halfway through 2026 almost. It's time for our mid-year sloth reset. So I'd like for you to meet Midi, our sloth guide, who is going to help us pause, reflect, and recalibrate for the rest of 2026. As I mentioned, sloths truly can teach us about productivity if we learn from them. And that's what we're going to do today. The first thing we want to think about, though, is we want to think about we're in almost June, and we're almost to the end of the second quarter. So one of the main goals today is for us to do a little bit of recalibration, say, where are we with our 2026 goals? You will notice I am intentionally doing this before the end of June, so you have time to adjust on Q2, the first half year, before the end of June. We'll talk about that a little bit. But what our focus today is, the flow of today's show, we are going to pause, reflect, and recalibrate on where we are in 2026. We're also going to say why now, our mid-year check-in. I've got 3 questions for you. Then we're going to look at your weekends and enjoying action steps with sloth productivity. We are in our sloth productivity series, and it is time for the mid-year reset. Before we go exactly into our mid-year reset, you might be saying, Megan, I still don't understand why you're saying that I should look at a sloth as a productivity guide. So let's look at why sloth productivity. Because the short answer is sloths embody everything this season asks of us. Sloths slow down. Sloths protect their energy. They move with purpose. They choose what truly matters, and they rest without guilt. Aren't those things we can learn about in 2026? Sloth wisdom we want to take for this season specifically. If we move slower, we'll feel calmer. If we choose less, we'll enjoy more. And if we protect our energy, we will protect our peace. So as we think about it, it is important to think about how we can take this into our day-to-day life. That is our goal with today's conversation. It is now time for summer sloth mode. So let's look at how we can specifically, let's think about how you can specifically activate your summer sloth mode. So thinking of what we just talked about, sloths protect their energy, they move with intention. How can we do that this summer? When you think about it, summers can be excessively busy because the days are longer and we're trying to cram more into the days. So, if we want to activate our summer sloth mode, what are some of the things we should be doing? Plan summer activities now as much as we can. Look at what's coming ahead. When we think about a sloth, one of the best lessons we can learn is when sloths are in one place and they're going to move to another place, they select one branch. They have one location that they're going to go, and then they direct their energy towards that one branch. Couple takeaways we humans could do. We know more important, more increasingly, we're realizing the power of doing one thing at a time. Well, there was a day and time when we thought, oh, multitask. We realize there's a time and place for multitasking. But if we're activating sloth mode, we're wanting to have one thing that we're working towards, and we want to move with intention. So that's how we can think about planning our season, planning our summers, also planning strategically for our energy. Another thing we can do is not slam every minute with every action every minute. If it's summer sloth mode, take time to enjoy it. I highly suggest a hammock and with iced tea or champagne, whatever you think works for you. So identify now, what can you do to activate your summer sloth mode? It is so important we're thinking about that because there are schedules and there are things that the sloth will actually deny and say, no, not that schedule. There actually is the thought we should put in our mind of sloth concern mode. When we look at our schedule, whether it be our calendar, whether it be how we're scheduling our time, this is one of the things we need to think about with sloth mode. And this is one of my favorite things when you're hopping onto a Zoom call, right? I'm a remote person, so it's always Zoom. When you're hopping onto a Zoom and someone starts with, oh, I'm back to back to back today. Oh, don't you hate that? We know that sometimes our meetings are back to back to back out of necessity, but that's not the way we should plan and go into it. Would a sloth go back to back to back? No, a sloth would not. They would say sloth schedule denied. While there might be sometimes you need to go back to back, it's important to think of our schedule from the perspective of our friend the sloth. Are we adding time between meetings? Are we looking at how many meetings we're having a day? Are we starting to look at our calendar and say, look, tomorrow I only want to work this many hours because I want to do this other thing? We want to think about how can we conserve our energy and how can we think about it from the sloth perspective of enjoying it and being present and not being stressed about it. You do not need to emotionally speed run this summer to enjoy it. I'm going to repeat that. You do not need to emotionally speed run this season to enjoy it. So when you're thinking about your schedule, think about the sloth. Are they going to approve it or are they going to deny it? An important question for you as we're going into this season. How many tabs are currently open in your life right now? How many tabs are currently open in your life right now? Like the visual of this that we think of is our computer screen and the slew of just tabs that are open, right? 47 tabs open of things that I'm working on, right? My question isn't about your computer or whatever screen you're on or whatever contraption you're working on. My question is, how many tabs are currently open in your life right now when those tabs are activities or things that you're doing? Do you have 47 tabs of things you're working on this summer? Can we learn from our friend the sloth? Absolutely. Sloths know to conserve energy, and they're not moving to multiple branches at a time. They pick one place and they're moving it. Now, I know we can't have just one tab open or one category open in our life, but we can learn from the sloth and we can look and say, if I happen to have 47 things open in my life and working on, let's learn from the sloth and say, how can we reduce and conserve our energy? We're not going to be able to eliminate it. We need to be real, but we need to think we can learn from the sloth and we can conserve some energy. So my question for you, how many tabs do you currently have open? And how many tabs do you want to have open this summer? If you want to start closing some tabs, spend some time thinking about that. Spend some time, block off time on your calendar and say, okay, how am I going to strategically plan for the rest of my summer? Again, conserving energy and scheduling intentional time to do that. We're learning from our friends, the sloths, yet again. It's time, as we're thinking about it, when we're talking about where we are for the year 2026. As I mentioned, the main goal, one of the main goals, besides learning lessons from sloths this episode is about a mid-year reset. Most of us, or some of us, we did have an episode, but a lot of us scheduled goals or have goals scheduled for us because of our jobs, right? So a lot of us have goals that we're working on an annual basis. We know that we're almost to the end of Q2 for 2026, and we know that we're almost to the half year point. So what better time to pause, reflect, and recalibrate so that it equals a year you're actually enjoy living. So again, we want to think about our friends, the sloths, right? We want to think about how they recalibrate and how they review. So that's something that we want to do. So right now, let's think about it. Let's take a mid-year review of where you are with your goals for 2026. So you might not have your goals in front of you right now. That's okay. I'm going to talk through the process. So when you're able to, you can, or come back to this, stop, pause, and go get your goals, come back to it. Whatever works for you. Again, we're going to learn from our friends, the sloths, and make it work for our energy. But it's time that our friend Midi walks us through the mid-year advantage. Most people wait until the end of the year to evaluate their goals, but the sloth has a different idea. Check in now. If we think about it, we know that we had goals we set in January at the beginning of the year. We've been living through Q1. We're in Q2, we're getting ready for Q3 and then ending Q4. So right now, before that mid-year point, right, before we're into Q3, let's ask ourselves, what is working this year? What's not working this year? What needs adjusting? What deserves more attention? And what no longer deserves your energy? We want to start to look at not only our goals and where we are with the progress, but we want to ask ourselves, how do we want to be for the rest of the year? Are we on track? Are there adjustments that need to be made? I don't know about you. When I set my goals in January, my life was very different because since then I've had a big job change. And so all of the goals that I had were shattered in that day. And so that means that I need to adjust. I'm not saying, and I hope that that hasn't happened to you, but it's time for you to look at right now, where are you with your goals and what do you need to do to be on track for the end of 2026? Because there is still time to adjust. We know that June, and doing this now, June gives us a powerful June, and that we have time to make meaningful course corrections before the year gets away from you or before the quarter gets away from you. So it's time to look back. It's time to look ahead, and it's time to make it count because you've got time right now to make this yours. So my encouragement, spend some time with a mid-year review of where you are with your goals. And when you do, ask Midi, your sloth guide, to guide you, and you'll be directed for where you want to go. Another part of the mid-year sloth reset that I find is very important is ask yourself 3 questions. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Just answer quickly, right? No paper needed, nothing like that. This is just to get your mind going. First question, what is working for you right now? Think about those. What are the things that are working for you right now? Whatever's in your mind, keep doing those things, right? What feels heavier than it should right now? Whatever's on your mind, those are the things you want to think about to adjust. Third question, what no longer matters? And you need to release that. When we realize and think about it, a lot can change between January and now. And so not every goal deserves to survive the year. And that's okay. Again, we're thinking and we're looking at mid-year sloth guide to say there are some times we need to release, there are some times we need to adjust, and there's some times we need to move and recalibrate our energy, which is the goal right now. A year becomes memorable not by doing more, but by noticing more. Memories don't need perfection, only your presence. My goal, my thought, my recommendation for you is to put some time on your calendar and think about these things. You don't have to follow all the steps I suggest. These are a guide. Again, I'm going to tell you personalize it and make it yours. But my recommendation is spend some intentional time over the next couple of days thinking about what you need to do between now and the end of June and what you need to want to do between now and the end of the year. Because as I mentioned, a year becomes memorable not by doing more, but by noticing more. Memories don't need perfection, only your presence. So if you know where you are in the year and you know where you're headed, you're able to focus on being present. And won't that make a better 2026? So let's say we've learned from the sloth guide, right? We've talked about our year. We've talked about how we want to adjust. Now let's talk a little bit about sloth weekend and how we can activate sloth weekend mode. As you'll notice for me, I have changed I'm still on the hammock. I've changed my sloth mode to champagne and bubbles, but we want to think about our weekends. One, we're going into a weekend, and two, because we're going to have summer weekends. So, how do you want to plan your summer weekend? What do you want them to feel like? How can you make them the best experience possible? Because it's your weekend, it's your mode. So, cheers to making it whatever you want. Recommendation for a sloth weekend? Don't try and work and answer emails while you're at the lake. If you're taking a walk, don't try and listen to emails or listen to something work related. Enjoy nature. Think about a sloth's perspective and what they would change or limit. When you're thinking about your weekend, wake up in the morning and sit outside for your coffee. Enjoy. Enjoy what you're doing. When you think about activating your sloth weekend mode, it's about taking time to enjoy it, not rush through it. Find that one thing you want to do. And also want to plan for the schedule, right? Another thing that's important for a sloth weekend is if you've got activities scheduled until 11 p.m. on Sunday night, or you're not getting home until late on Sunday night, know that your Monday morning is going to be impacted, or you're going to have to stay up all night Sunday, right? Those are not that you don't want to think about that going into it. You want to ask yourself, is that how you want to end your weekend and start your next week? So, one of the reasons I'm talking about sloth mode when it comes to summer is so that you're slowing down and you're intentional to enjoy it, because we also know that a sloth rests without apology. So you should have a weekend without an apology. One thing I recommend is I recommend having closed time. I recommend having time that you are closed and not available, and you tell people about it. For me, it's when I log off Friday night to Sunday morning. Saturdays are my time. So I'm not going to respond, and people know that people that I work with know I might respond, but it's my choice. Sloth mode is about finding and not feeling guilty about when you're going to rest or you're going to be closed. When we think about it, if we're closed and take time to do that, then we're energized and we're in a better mode when we're ready to activate and do what we need to do for the next week. So, my challenge to you, what are you going to do this weekend that is sloth mode activated? How are you going to enjoy your time? And maybe you're not going to have bubbles and champagne, but what are you going to do for you? It's time to think about you and this weekend. Why have we been talking about sloth mode today? Why have we been talking about a mid-year reset? Because it's time to enjoy. If we're thinking and we're acting and we're intentional about our habits, we're able to be present and enjoy. Maybe the most productive thing you do this summer isn't adding another project. Maybe it's leaving enough room to actually experience your life while you're living it. The sloths seem pretty confident about about their strategy, and it seems to be working for them. So maybe we could take some lessons from them. And again, enjoy. Leave time in your calendar. Don't have back to back to back. Be a regular. Have it be that happens sometimes when needed, not again as expected. Your sloth mid-year challenge is about being intentional to say, where am I? What do I need to adjust? And how do I need to move forward? So my challenge to you this week, take some time to close out one tab. Again, we're talking about our live category tabs, and it could also be a screen tab too. But take time this week, close out one tab so you have one less. We're not trying to get to zero yet, unless you can. We're just saying close one out at a time. Sloths don't move that quickly, so you shouldn't either. 2, let go of one thing that no longer matters. As you've done a review of your goals from January, there might be goals or things you were doing that don't matter in the same way. Great. Let go of it and don't waste your time, effort, and energy on it. Find something that matters and is in alignment with your goals so you're where you want to be by the end of the year. 3, protect one block of time for yourself. Again, I just told you what I do for Saturdays, but one of my requests for you is have one block of time for yourself. I'm not telling you how long because we're all different. I'm not telling you when because we're all different. And it could be doing whatever you want, but it's a block for you. No one else is invited. It's just party of one. And my 4th recommendation for your Sloth Mid-Year Challenge this week is to create one Sloth-Approved Summer moment. Think about your summer and think about one of the things a sloth would approve for this summer and do that for a while. We can learn from our sloths. As I told you at the beginning, one of the mentors I've had in productivity is a sloth. And I also said that by the end of the show, you might see and learn and see at least one way you can learn from a sloth. Some of the things we've talked about is sloths move slower and they notice more. They enjoy the season. They stop emotionally speedrunning your summer. You don't need to do that. Instead, think from the sloth's perspective and leave enough room to actually live your summer and enjoy it because we can have fun. Because again, remember, sloths don't feel guilty about resting, and neither should we. Sloths don't feel guilty about enjoying themselves, neither should we. So as we're getting ready to close this out, it's important that we identify, how do you want to spend your time, effort, and energy for the rest of 2026? This is really the heart of the question, right? Now is a good time to ask ourselves that. How do you want to spend your time, effort, and energy for the rest of 2026? Once you identify it, then you can put in place how you're going to make it happen. My goal for you today, as every week, is to have at least one action that you can take away. And I hope you've had at least one action. And I hope, just as I recommended at the beginning, I hope you also have been able to take away at least one lesson and realize that sloths can be our productivity guides. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner. I want to thank you for joining me today on intentional productivity tips. I want to thank you for taking time for your mid-year reset because it will make the rest of the year more enjoyable. I guarantee you that. I will be back next Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific. You can watch me on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel. Also, if you want to connect, you can also reach out to me at megan@productivitymegan.com. Thank you for joining me again today. I do hope, as I mentioned, that you have learned at least one thing from a sloth. I hope that, as mentioned, you're able to take one thing away for your summer. And I hope you have an enjoyable summer that makes you enjoy and not feel bad about rest, just as we're going to learn from our friends, the sloths. I will see you next Thursday at 2 o'clock. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, We're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.